Good morning, Madam Warden. I can just confirm that we do have council, a quorum of council in attendance, and I can confirm that as well in the roll call after the meeting begins.
Okay, thank you. And there's the message that we are recording in progress. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk, and thank you very much, everyone, for attending online this morning. I would like to call to order this January 8th County Council meeting. At this point in time, as you're able, please stand and join us in the singing of O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, could you please conduct our roll call?
Thank you, and through you, Madam Warden, I can confirm we have all members in attendance from County Council, with the exception of Councillor Nielsen and Body. We won't expect Councillor Nielsen this morning, but are expecting Councillor Body later on.
Okay, thank you. And Madam Clerk, could I please ask that you or someone, a staff member, share the land acknowledgement, because I don't have that in my notes in front of me. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Please hold.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. We acknowledge with respect that we are gathered on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe Nation, the people of the Three Fires, known as the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. We give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen and the Chippewas of Nawash, known collectively as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, the traditional keepers of these lands and waters since time immemorial. To our south, the traditional territories of the Six Nations of the Grand River and the Haudenosaunee. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and friendship with all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. And with that, for our County Council agenda, we have a number of adoption of minutes. The first one is item 5A. It's recommended that the minutes of the joint Bruce and Grey County special meeting dated November 27th, 2025, and the resolutions contained therein be adopted as presented. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? Okay, I see the Deputy Warden has raised his hand to move, and Councillor Dickert has seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor, please to raise your hand. And that motion is carried. Thank you. Next is item 5B. It's recommended that the inaugural minutes of the County Council meeting dated December 2nd, 2025, and the resolutions contained therein be adopted as presented. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? I've got a move by Councillor Patterson and seconded by Councillor Dobreen. Any discussion? Please raise your hand, all those in favor. And that motion is carried. Item 5C, it's recommended that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole special budget meeting dated December 5th, 2025, and the resolutions contained therein be adopted as presented. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Mackey, seconded by Councillor Carleton. Any discussion? Seeing no hands, then all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that motion is carried. Item 5D, it's recommended that the minutes of County Council meeting and the Committee of the Whole meeting dated December 11th, 2025, and the resolutions contained therein be adopted as presented. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? I have it moved by Councillor McKay, seconded by Councillor McKeveney. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that motion is carried. And then we have item 5E. It's recommended that the minutes of the special committee of the whole budget meeting dated December 12th, 2025, and the resolutions contained therein be adopted as presented. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Bourdignon, seconded by Councillor Eccles. It's on the floor for discussion. Councillor Eccles, is that a hand for discussion or just a second? Okay, just a second. All right then, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that motion is carried. And item 5F, it's recommended that the closed minutes of the joint Bruce and Grey County special meeting dated November 27th, 2025, and the closed session special committee of the whole budget meeting minutes dated December 5th, 2025, be adopted as provided. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? Okay, we've got it moved by Councillor Kentner and seconded by Councillor Eccles. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that motion is carried. And we do not have any closed meeting matters on today's council agenda, and nor do we have any reports, so we can then move on to the bylaws. It's recommended that bylaws 5263-26 and 5264-26 be introduced and taken as read a first, second, and third time, finally passed, signed by the warden and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and engrossed into the bylaw book. There are two. The first one is 5263-26. It's a bylaw to adopt the estimates of revenues and expenditures for the year 2026, requiring a total to be raised from taxation in 2026 of $83,951,800. And the second one is a bylaw to confirm all actions and proceedings of the council. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? I've got it moved by Councillor Gregg. Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Pringle. Any discussion? Seeing no hands raised, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that motion is carried. Thank you. So news and celebrations. It's wonderful to see everyone, even if it's virtual. It's still good to see everybody's faces here after the holidays and all of the wonderful events that happened in December as well throughout our communities and more so into the new year. I'd like to begin by first of all recognizing that this is actually from January 7th until 12th. This marks the Grey Bruce Farmers Week. And this year's conference is even more special because there's a special celebration. There is a 60th anniversary. It is the 60th anniversary, an incredible event for the Grey Ag Services. 6 decades of work, 6 decades of bringing our agricultural communities together, and it's truly something that should be celebrated. Farmers Week is a great opportunity each and every year for farmers and everyone in the agricultural community to come together, learn about their different commodities, discover new developments in farm practices and technology, and take valuable knowledge back to their farms. Agriculture isn't just an industry in Grey County, it is woven into our very history, and it's driving our economy and it's shaping who we are in each and every one of our municipalities. Grey County is a proud supporter of the Grey Ag Services and the Grey Bruce Farmers Week, and we want to extend, all of us want to extend our sincere congratulations to Laurie Smith for her leadership and her wonderful team of organizers and wish them a tremendous success this week. And the other news and celebrations, I'd just like to, on behalf of all of council, recognize all of those municipal services and emergency services and healthcare providers, both at our lower tiers and at our upper tier here in the county, who work diligently over the holidays, and especially during some of the challenging weather that we had as well. We are no strangers to snowstorms in Grey County, that is true, but we do truly appreciate the dedication shown by so many to work so efficiently and so professionally under those circumstances. To our transportation services team, thank you for working around the clock and doing your best to keep our roads open and safe and keep our public informed. And your commitment during those long, challenging shifts does not go unnoticed. To our paramedics, you were right there with them, ready to go out during the storms, responding to calls, caring for our community members, and in their times perhaps of greatest need. Your skill and dedication are fundamental to our community's well-being. And to the many staff and our other services operating over the holidays, there's lots of activity that happens in the background that people are often unaware of. We really do appreciate that, including all of those who are in our long-term care homes, who brave the elements just to make sure that they could still come to work and support our residents and their co-workers. All of us share our deepest gratitude. So with that, I would like to open it out for other community announcements of news and celebrations. We'll go to Councillor McKay first.
Yes, thank you. And through you, Warden, I know this is dear to your heart. This year, 2026, is the 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Legion. And keep your ears and eyes open. There'll be many special events going on with our branches throughout Grey County. I know the Chatsworth Legion 464 is going to throw a big event come this summer. So I guess the anniversary date is July 18th or 17th. So keep your ears open and help support the legions in your area. Thank you.
Excellent. Good heads up for us to make sure we're circling that date on our calendar. And other news and celebrations. I'll look for any virtual hands to go up. I do hope this means that everybody had some good rest and time with their friends and family. It's good to see that we've had some downtime, and I know there are some exciting events, some levies coming up around the municipalities as well, and it's good to see everybody back. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any further announcements at this point in time, so we will then move on with the motion to adjourn. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? I've got a move by Councillor McQueen, seconded by Councillor Dobreen. Any discussion on adjourning? All those in favor? And the council portion is adjourned, and we'll wait for a moment to get the heads up from our communications before we move on to committee of the whole. Thank you. Now, I would like to now call to order this committee of the whole, and the agenda has been circulated and published and provided to members of the public, members of the committee of the whole of January 8th, 2026. So I'd like to call to order this meeting, but I would like to just give a moment to ask if it would be amenable to council, to our committee of the whole members, if we were to move the delegation up ahead of the business arising from the minutes. We do have a notice of motion that will require discussion during that business arising from the minutes. And out of respect to Mr. Grieko, who is ready to present the delegation, I would like to ask if it is amenable to move it up. I'll just say, please raise your hand if there is anybody who has a concern about moving those two items. Okay, not seeing any hands go up, we will then continue with that. First of all, though, I will put out a call for declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest for this committee of the whole agenda? Seeing none, we will proceed, and we will proceed therefore with item 4A, which is a delegation regarding safety and accessibility from Nichols Gully on Gray Road 17B. I would like to welcome Mr. Joseph Grieko for coming here. I see you there on the screen. Thank you very much. And can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are coming in nice and clear. So we welcome that. And the deputy clerk is going to start to share the screen for you. So if there's something you need her to scroll down to or the next slide, just go ahead and say that, and then she'll move it down for you. So welcome. The floor is yours.
Good morning. Madam Warden, thank you for letting me speak today. As you know, I'll be speaking about Gray Road 17B and the portion known as Nichols Gully. A bit of background. I live very close to Keppel Sarawak Elementary School. I frequently use Summer Street in Georgian Bluffs, then on to Nichols Gully to access services and visit my daughter in the area known as the Sunset Strip. I access those services mostly by car, but have also used my bike on numerous occasions. My family would typically use Nichols Gully and 17B 5 or 6 days a week, traveling to and from our destination. I guess you could say that our family is part of the on average 4,500 vehicles using that route every day in 2025. I have had concerns about road safety in Nichols Gully, so I contacted Gray County Roads about a year ago and was glad to find out that Nichols Gully and Gray Road 17B were slated for an upgrade in 2027. I was told by county staff that both vehicle and pedestrian safety concerns would be addressed with the planned upgrade. I also was told that the plan would include structural changes similar to those made to Alpha Street in Owen Sound in 2025. These changes would include safe separation between pedestrians, bike, and vehicle traffic. These changes would also include better sight lines, improved rain and snow runoff, and wider shoulders for automobile traffic. I hope all staff and councillors here today would agree that safety for vehicle traffic, pedestrians and cyclists must be the primary concern when considering any changes to the road. That is why it is important to hear about Bill. Bill is one of the many pedestrians that live on or near Gray Road 17B and uses Nichols Gully Road to access services on 10th Street West and the Sunset Strip. As you can see in front of you, a picture of Bill making his way down the gully are included in this presentation, and he has given me permission to have that picture presented today. He is in good shape, but is elderly and for personal reasons can no longer drive. He could be anyone's father or grandfather here today. I was able to talk to him last fall and called him recently to ask him the following questions. First question is, do you feel safe walking Nichols Gully Road? And his answer was, not really. It is very dangerous, sometimes to walk on the narrow, unpaved shoulder. Sometimes I'm forced to walk on the road itself to avoid chunks of snow, ice, or potholes. Second question was, do you encounter other people walking or riding bikes while walking the road? His answer was, I've been living on 17B for 18 years and have been walking the road for at least 10. I often see people walking, running, and biking along the road. I often see 3 boys use the road who I presume attend the high school. Question number 3. Do you have any suggestions on how to improve safety for pedestrians or cyclists? His answer, it would be good to have wider paved shoulders or a separate walkway that's not close to the road. Right now, there are many potholes and unevenness to the shoulders. The snow is piled up right next to the guardrails, and there is no room for pedestrians. Properly remove the excess snow. Better lighting, especially at this time of the year. Find a way to stop the water and ice runoff from making things even more dangerous. Next question was, Should the Flix bus to Sauble use that route? His answer, it seems dangerous for such a large vehicle. There are also other large trucks like grain trucks using the route. In my conversation with Bill, we both came to the conclusion that until the upgrade to Nickel Gully Road is completed, that at the very least, watch for pedestrian signs should be posted at both the north and south access points of the gully. We both wondered why those signs haven't already been posted, considering that both the administration and the council are fully aware that both pedestrians and cyclists use the road. The takeaway from my presentation is as follows. 1, any changes to Grey Road 17 Nichols Gully must have vehicle and pedestrian safety as their number 1 priority. Number 2, a safe separation from pedestrian, bike traffic, and vehicle traffic is imperative. Number 3, better lighting and proper snow removal are essential for pedestrian safety. There is a question that should be asked at this council, and that is, do the road upgrades need to have public input to properly address before any final decision is made? And that's the end of my formal talk. But there is a photo that I would like for council to see, and that would be the last photo. I believe it's the one that is showing the cleared road, that one there. That sorry, yeah, that one. That is a cleared sidewalk at the top of Alpha Street, and the other road in front, the road in front of you is 17B. That is an example of what the Nichols Gully pedestrian walkway should look like. And I don't know the logistics. I know that Georgian Bluffs and Owen Sound are adjacent to that roadway. And I'm not sure if Georgian Bluffs have a vehicle that does remove snow from sidewalks, but I do know that Owen Sound does. And I think it would take maybe some cooperation between the 2 municipalities and Grey County to somehow, in some cooperative way, find a way that pedestrians and cyclists can feel safe using Nichols Gully. That's the end of what I have to say, but if there's any questions or if you have any comments, I'd be free to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, thank you very much for that presentation. And just before I open it to committee of the whole members to see if they have any questions for you, I just want to look to Director Hoy. Director Hoy, I believe that there is a report that's forthcoming in February with regards to that will include this section of the road.
Yes, through you, Andrea. Yeah, I want to thank Mr. Grieco for coming to the committee. We are aware of a lot of these issues. We know that section of road has a lot of active transportation challenges, and you know, as per our cycling and trails master plan, it really is supposed to have paved shoulders, or it's a key corridor in our active transportation plan. So we do have a report coming in February that will address some of these issues. There's many options. It's a very difficult area because of the confined space down there, and just the vertical and horizontal, variation. And I did want to thank him for some of the short-term fixes, such as pedestrian signs. We'll look into that immediately, just to see. We have seen people through there as well, and cyclists as well. So there is a lot of options there, and it's not an easy design. Some of that section is our narrowest right of way, but I don't want to get too into it here. That should all be coming in the report in February. It's going to be pretty inclusive. We met with Georgian Bluffs already at a staff level to start talking about the project. So there's a lot in the works there that we can bring in the February report.
Okay, thank you very much, Director Hoy. So with that, Madam Deputy Clerk, if you wouldn't mind just unsharing your screen so we can have all the members back on the screen. And I will just ask if you could use your virtual hand, Committee of the Whole members, if you have any questions to direct towards our delegate. Okay. All right, I'm not seeing any hands go up for you. Thank you very much for presenting the material, both the visual material and your oral presentation. And it is good to see that there's already communication between you and our Director of Transportation. And as he mentioned, in the next cycle of our committee of the whole and committee and council meetings in February, we'll be hearing more details on that. So with that, I thank you for excuse me, the delegation, and we received that, and that will help frame our contemplation as we see that report come forward. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Okay, so with that, then we will go to business arising from the minutes, which is item 3 of our Committee of the Whole published agenda. And there was a notice of motion presented by Councillor Milne on December 11th, 2025 during the Committee of the Whole. And so in order for us to go any further on discussion, we will need to confirm that Councillor Milne or Deputy Warden Milne is moving the motion, and we will need a seconder. So Deputy Warden, are you still moving that now therefore be it resolved that on the adoption of the 2026 budget, the Budget and Finance Committee be resolved? Can I just confirm that you're still moving? Thank you. I see your thumbs up.
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. So I would ask at this time if there is a seconder. And I see it seconded by Councillor Bourdignon, so it's now on the floor for discussion. So if you could please use your virtual hands, that'll be helpful because it will put you to the top of my screen. And we'll begin with the Deputy Warden.
Thank you, Warden. And thank you for indulging me on this this topic. I guess off the top, I'd say it's ironic that this comes before today. Part, if not most of the reason why we're meeting virtually is because the agenda is fairly small and we don't want to waste people's time driving to Owen Sound for a very short meeting. So that said, the reason why I've brought this forward is to reduce the amount of wasted time. And I guess I'll bear some of the responsibility because we've had discussions on Committee of the Whole versus other. And I thought I was very supportive of having this committee, the Budget and Audit Committee, Budget and Finance Committee. So really deep dives into finances, primarily budget. And we did that, I think. I think we did a pretty good job. And the recommendation was to bring back these suggestions to council. What I didn't anticipate was going all through the budget again with all the staff, senior staff sitting there again. I think the budget committee rather met at least twice, maybe 3 times to discuss the budget. And then we went through the whole thing again with the entire council, at least twice, maybe 3 times with all the senior staff. It seemed to me a colossal waste of time. If we're going to go through it in depth with the entire council, that's fine. That's great. But what's the point of the committee if we're going to go through the whole thing again with the entire committee? So hence my resolution. And I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy Warden. So it is on the floor for discussion. Okay, we'll go to Councillor Carleton.
Thank you, Warden, and Happy New Year to everyone. I agree with Deputy Warden Milne and his comments. I think anything to do with our budget and finance is so important to all of council that everyone wants to be included. So I completely support eliminating this committee and just bringing it all forward to all of council in future. So thank you for bringing this forward.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? I'll look for the virtual hands. Okay, I'm not seeing any for, oh, we'll go to Councillor Eccles next.
Thank you, Madam Warden, and through you. I was a strong proponent of bringing this back in as a budget and finance committee. What I have found sitting on the committee and the variations of the committee throughout the year was that the finance part of that committee, I think somewhere got lost. Or maybe it just wasn't something that was a priority or needed to be addressed. We worked strongly, I think, the committee did on the budget, but the same as what Councillor Millen said, to have it repeated again at Committee of the Whole, and in reference to Councillor Carlton, the same thing, that if we're going to do the same thing at Committee of the Whole, this committee certainly can be eliminated, and the costs certainly do not need to be recognized, and we can move forward making the budget more healthy and hearty by going through Committee of the Whole. So I'm supporting the idea of disbanding the committee and getting more effective and efficient time from staff and council on the duties that we need to behold. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then I'll put a call out. Is there anybody else that would like to add to the discussion? Okay, I'll put a final call out. Is there anybody that would like to add to the discussion? We'll go to Councillor Mackey next.
Thank you, Warden Matrosovs, and good morning, County Council. I have to agree with the comments made by my colleagues that I sit with on the Budget and Finance Committee. It was certainly painful to go through all the information twice. It was a duplication that is not required. My thought when the committee was created that we would take a deep dive, and I think the committee did do that, but there needs to be some trust and given to the members of the committee from the rest of council that we are taking that deep dive and that there isn't a need to bring it all back in front of Committee of the Whole. That being said, that didn't take place this year, so I support disbanding the Budget and Finance Committee. Unfortunately, I think it could serve a very good purpose, but not under the current setting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other discussion? Look for any other virtual hands. Not seeing any further virtual hands, then it looks like we're ready to call the vote. So I'll ask all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that motion is carried. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have now already taken care of item number 4. That allows us to go on to determination of items for separate discussion. So in item 6, we have a number of pieces. We have items, actually it's just 2. We have item 6A and 6B. Are either of those, does anybody desire to have a separate discussion about either of those? Okay, yes, Madam Clerk.
Sorry, Madam Warden, just to confirm that there is also 6C and
Oh.
6D regarding
thank
OSIF
you.
funding. And
Sorry, I see that they're on my second page. Yes, thank you. So we do have 4 items, items 6A through D. Anything that anybody would like to discuss separately? Councillor Eccles.
6C, please. I would like to pull.
Okay, so 6C has been pulled. Anything else? Okay, so not seeing any further hands then, it's recommended that the following consent agenda items be received and that staff be authorized to take actions necessary to give effect to the recommendations in the staff reports, and that the correspondence be supported or received for information as recommended in the consent agenda. And we will consider this for items 6A, B, and D, but 6C will have separate discussion. I see it moved by Councillor DeBreen. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Counselor Keaveney. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, so we will go to the item for discussion first, and then we'll circle back to item 6C. So first of all, we'll move on to item 7A, and this is the Agricultural Advisory Committee meeting minutes dated December 10th, 2025. And the recommendation is that the minutes of the Agricultural Advisory Committee meeting minutes dated December 10th, 2025 be adopted as presented, and the following resolution contained therein be endorsed. That the report CAOR-ACC 1925 regarding the Experimental Acres 2025 program outcomes and next steps be received for information. And I'll call upon Director Taylor in a moment, but first of all, let me just see if I can get that onto the floor. I see it moved by Councillor McQueen and seconded by Councillor Dickert. It's now on the floor for discussion, so welcome, Director Taylor.
Great. Thanks, Madam Warden, and good morning to everyone and Happy New Year. So the Agricultural Advisory Committee held its last meeting of the year on December 10th, and as always, it was a good and informative discussion. I'm going to touch on just some of the highlights here for Committee of the Whole's benefit, but certainly happy to take any questions if there are any. To lead off the meeting, we had a short discussion from Sean Anthony in our Transportation Services Department, and this was in relation to a question that had come from a previous committee meeting. And Mr. Anthony spoke about transportation services practices as it relates to the cutting of ash trees and elm trees on our county roadsides. He noted that there has been an increase in workload over recent years, and that their crew runs from April to October of each year. When ash or elm or any other trees are cut, the body wood is left on the roadside for scavengers, but their crews do patrol it, and if nobody picks it up, the wood is removed at that point. If there's any work in close proximity to hydro lines or utilities, then Hydro One or the utility is contacted in that regard. We also had an update to the committee on the proposed municipal boundary expansion between the municipality of West Grey and the town of Hanover. And because this was December 10th, we noted to the committee that any future decisions still need to go through both municipal councils as well as county council, and ultimately be approved by the province if they were supported locally. If the decisions were approved, and they have now been approved by all three councils and sent on to the province, there still needs to be future planning processes to take place in terms of updates to the zoning bylaw and the official plans in that regard, and there would be robust public consultation as part of that. We had a discussion with the committee and stressed that no landowners are being forced to develop their lands, and certainly farming can continue on those lands as long as any farmers wish to continue to farm in that regard. Next, we had a staff report, and this links to the motion that the warden read out a few minutes ago from Linda Scott Swanston, and a presentation from Emily McKeag from Gregg Services, who provided a year in review of the Experimental Acres program for 2025. So there were 6 projects in 2025, which included farmlands in West Grey, Georgian Bluffs, Meaford, and Southgate on approximately 265 acres of land. There is the staff report from Linda, as well as the detailed 2025 project outcomes report, which if you've not had a chance to peruse yet, highly recommend taking a look through. It's very detailed. There's some good information, some good photos, and summary of this partnership project between the farming community, Gregg Services, and Grey County in this regard. And I understand that the intake for 2026 projects for Experimental Acres is coming very soon. Next, there was an update on dead stock removal and the requirements on farmers. This stems from both some past discussions at the Agricultural Advisory Committee, as well as a recent webinar that OMAFA had held to refresh everyone's memory on the requirements the requirements for dead stock removal. We will be sharing the slide deck from OMAFA once that's been received with the committee. Next, we had our roundtable discussion, which we have at every Agricultural Advisory Committee meeting. First off, there was a discussion on the proposed changes to the conservation authorities, and there was a committee member that noted the commenting deadline for people wishing to submit comments, similar to the comments on today's consent agenda. There was certainly lots of discussion along that topic. We also had a discussion on the county's Living Snow Fence program and whether or not there was any changes being proposed or improvements that could be made to both improve the attractiveness of that program for the farm community, while also hopefully achieving some of the goals with respect to shielding some of our roads from snow drifting in that regard. And finally, we had a request for a future topic for the committee, and this was to explore the impacts of energy projects on farmland, and more notably ground-mounted solar projects. And with some of the recent intakes from IESO, what would that mean for farmers and farmland in Grey County going forward? So this is something staff will be digging further into and sharing with the committee at our first meeting in 2026. We also had a discussion on some recent work that's being done by our neighbors in Wellington County on farm transition planning and succession planning in that regard. Director Myers, Savannah noted that there would be some training and program coming forward in early 2026 on this topic. So we hope to be able to share more on that soon. Linda and Savannah also noted an upcoming exhibit that's coming to Grey Roots in May of 2026 called Wild Weather. There was a call out to both committee members, farmers, and the public to share any firsthand experiences they might have with respect to weather and the environment over the years. We know certainly weather is key to farmers, and there's a lot of junior and not so junior meteorologists out there that track this very carefully. And so I think as part of this exhibit, they were looking for any firsthand experience that the farm community could share in that regard. And certainly even among the committee members, there were some that spoke to having some logs or notes that they could share with the team at Grey Roots and Linda in that regard. And finally, CAO Schertzer took a moment to thank Chair Laurie Smith for all of her work on the Agricultural Advisory Committee and Grey Agricultural Services, as well as recognizing her coming retirement in early 2026. I'm sure this committee is very familiar with Ms. Smith, but she's got over 20 years experience with Grey Ag Services and has been an absolutely wonderful asset, not only to Grey Ag Services, but to the county as a whole and to the county's Agricultural Advisory Committee. I know personally, whenever you have a question or a thought, you can email Laurie and almost any time of day get a response within minutes. She's just such a fountain of knowledge and enthusiasm in that regard, and is always happy to help educate and speak up for the farm community in that regard. As the warden mentioned in our council meeting today, Grey Bruce Farmers Week is ongoing as we speak, and this is the 60th iteration of that event. And both major events like Farmers Week, but also all the educational offerings that Grey Ag Services offers throughout the year don't happen without a lot of logistics and organization and hard work behind the scenes from very dedicated individuals like Laurie. So both CAO Schertzer and the committee wish Laurie all the best in her retirement and encouraged her not to be a stranger at future events and matters across the county. And so with that was a quick summary of what we talked about at the Ag Advisory Committee. But if there are any questions, happy to take any.
Okay, thank you very much, and welcome words about Laurie as well. So with that then, I'll put it out to Committee of the Whole members. I see Councillor Gregg. Your hand is raised.
Just thank you, Warden, and Happy New Year, everyone. One quick question about the succession planning and staff bringing back resources. I have a little bit of trepidation about how much internally we would be dedicating for resources to succession planning. This sounds a little bit to me like scope creep or moving beyond our core mandate for service provision. Just wondering if you could expand a little bit on that for me, Scott, in terms of what type of resources we allocate. I think that's probably a topic that would become endless in terms of succession planning in a broad sense. I would be very reluctant to be going into that sphere. So just wondering if you could expand on that. Thanks.
Director Taylor, did you want to take that, or I see Director Myers has put up her hand as well?
Through you, Madam Warden, I'll happily turn this over to Savannah, who's much more well-versed here.
Okay. Director Myers, go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, County Council. Through you, Warden. Succession planning is something that our department already does, and it's actually becoming a mandate of the Business Enterprise Center contract with the new TPA that will come out as of April 1st. So that's the new information that's coming. We've been told to expect that change to the TPA. There will be resources coming along with that. The training is coming from the province, and there is a pilot happening with the province that we will have full access to. So it's not a matter of new internal resources. We'll be leveraging what is now being created through the province and able to deliver that locally. So it's a really good news story for our region.
Okay. Any follow-up there, Councillor Greg?
Yeah, thanks for that. It sounds like it's just piggybacking off the resources that we already have at the BEC, which I know historically has supported a lot of small business type establishments throughout the county. So I think that's what I'm hearing, and hopefully it's not the province adding roles or responsibilities to the county without correspondingly funding it for us.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll go to Councillor Dobreen.
Good morning, Warden and County Council. Happy New Year, everyone. I wanted to just ask a little bit more about the Living Snow Fence project. I had been contacted actually just yesterday by someone asking if there were incentives, and I did mention that there was a program. It's more about the provincial highway, Highway 6 and Highway 10, those farm properties. Does the project incent farm landowners along those corridors as well, or is this just a Grey County Living Snow Fence project through Ag Services perhaps? And where can we find more information about it?
Okay, I do see the CAO's hand is up. So Director Taylor, if I'll start with the CAO and then you can add on anything. Go ahead, CAO Schertzer.
Yeah, thank you, Warden, and Happy New Year, County Council, and good morning, everyone. And I might also lean on Pat with respect to this, but in terms of the Living Snow Fence work and that was updated with respect to the Ag Advisory Committee, that was primarily focused on the work as it relates to our county roads. I'm not aware in terms of any programs that MTO might have. And that's where maybe I'll look to Director Hoy to see if he's aware of any, but I'm not aware of any with respect to MTO.
Okay, thank you. I'll just look for Director Hoy to confirm.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any either through you, Warden.
Right. Okay. All right. That would be, I can just imagine all of the places along highways, provincial highways where it would be advantageous. So that must be part of a bigger piece of the puzzle. Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we will go to Councillor Eccles next.
Thank you, Madam Warden, and through you. Probably back to Savannah. I wanted to go back to the farm succession planning. Strangely enough, when we look across and look, it's more in the southern part of Grey County, Grey Highlands, Southgate, West Grey, up into Chatsworth. We have a very strong, active farm community, more or less called into the Mennonite community. And they've already pretty much given succession planning an absolute footprint of how to do it. I don't know why we need to reinvent it. Maybe we could just steal it from how they do succession farming, because once a farm is in that community, it stays being a farm and successfully transition forward. Just a thought.
Thank you. Any other comments for discussion? Okay, I'm not seeing any further hands up then. Thank you for all that input. I will now call the question then. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that motion is carried. Thank you. That allows us to move back to the one item that was pulled from the consent agenda, item 6C. So first of all, let me get it onto the floor. It's recommended that the correspondence from the town of Smith Falls regarding Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund be supported by Grey County. May I ask for a mover and a seconder? I've got it moved by Councillor Kentner and seconded by Councillor Eccles. It's now on the floor for discussion. And Councillor Eccles, you had requested this be pulled. Do you want to pose your thought or your question? And then I will look to Director Spicer.
Yes, thank you. And I think I certainly absolutely support the idea and whatnot, but I was hoping that we could get even a stronger response, a letter to the Minister of Finance and the Ontario government supporting this idea. As we've gone forward and as we've seen, remarkably since amalgamation, the downloading and from the province and the inability to maintain the funding that should be coming from income resources, not property tax. As we deliver, municipalities deliver services that, as I said, downloaded from the province without the funding and whatnot, and it needs to be dramatically put pressure on the province to maintain at a minimum their financial support for municipalities doing their work that they're responsible for. And that was the reason for me pulling it and wanting to, more than just a vote to support it, but a letter forward to the ministry or the ministries that Grey County effectively would like to see this fund at a minimum be supported by an index towards inflationary measures or something along that line going forward. And that was the reason I would pull it and put forward a motion that we send as Grey County a letter on behalf of the 9 municipalities and the county asking the province to at least minimally continue to support the OSIF with an inflationary increase on a yearly basis at a minimum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So just hold that thought. I'll come back to you then in terms of an amendment to the main motion. Let me just give the floor to Director Spicer if she'd like to add any further background, and then I will look to the clerk for some process questions before we move forward with an amendment. Director Spicer, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Warden. I will say that the OSIF funding is something that all municipalities are relying upon to assist with funding their infrastructure. And it's certainly a needed and valued resource financially. And I would agree with Councillor Eccles with respect to there's many things that we pay for on a property tax basis that doesn't necessarily correlate to the property owner's income. And an indexation of the OCIF allocation would certainly be warranted and appreciated by municipalities, and I would support that.
Okay, thank you very much. So Madam Clerk, I'm just going to look to you just to confirm the way that we've got it moved on the floor right now. If we say that we are supporting it, that the County of Grey is supporting the correspondence that's received, who gets a copy of our support already? And then that way I can then look to Councillor Eccles in terms of an amendment.
So the way the motion is currently worded, we would, as a matter of internal process, send it back to Smith Falls for their further handling and follow up with the province. So there wouldn't be any letter sent directly to the province without direction from council.
Okay, thank you very much. So with that, Councillor Eccles, do you want to articulate what it is that you would like to move as an amendment to the main motion?
Oh boy, I feel like you're putting me just before lunch and into the process of Mr. Taylor at this point in time, because just to simplify it, yes, I would like to, more than circulate the letter back to Smith Falls saying, yes, we support you. Put it directly, a letter to the province and the appropriate ministries from Grey County that requiring or requesting on a go-forward basis that not only the OSIF funding, but a number, and I can't tell you the exact number of other provincial funding formulas that we have never seen an increase to, some of them in 20 or 25 years. Mary Lou would probably be better to say how long that is on some of that funding, that all of them be indexed as we continue to do the work on behalf of the province, and no big deal, but on behalf of the province, but that their funding models need to be updated, and we're not financially burdened by delivering those services by the lack of increased funding to support those services.
Okay, thank you. I do see Director Spicer has put up her hand. So just before I go to a seconder, just briefly, if we could put that back onto the screen, please, so that Councillor Eccles can contemplate the wording that was captured by the clerks, and then I'll look to you to confirm if that's the way that you would like the wording or what changes you'd like to make. In the meantime, Director Spicer, I see your hand is raised.
Thank you, Madam Warden. What I should have also mentioned is that Smith Falls resolution mentions indexing it by CPI. And the one thing that would be more beneficial is if it was indexed by NRB CPI, which is the non-residential building consumer price index. That's what we use, for example, indexing our development charges. And that index is more specific to construction versus CPI, which has a different set of baskets. And with respect to Councillor Eccles' comment about a number of software funding programs that have not been indexed, there's any number of those. And the interesting thing with OSIF is we prepare a report called a current replacement value report, and it goes to the province. And what happens is they take that data, they compare against our previous year. There's a number of data points, including across the province. So you can't calculate what our OSIF allocation would be for the following year because we don't have all the data points. In the past, it went up it could go up or down a maximum of 15%. So if we went up 15%, you were pretty confident that we should have went up more than that. But we were held at 15% because somebody else went down 15%, and they should have probably gone down further. And for 2026, that threshold has been reduced to a plus or minus of 10%. So just to provide some additional context.
Okay, so we'll need to make sure that the amendment to the main motion, we can provide further details about in addition to supporting, but at the moment, the motion on the floor is to support Smith Falls in the way that they framed it. So I'll just ask if Councillor Eccles, if you can just firm up your amendment to the main motion, keeping it close enough that it doesn't become a whole new topic of business. And it is in response to the letter from Smith Falls. So I think we've got a good start that way. And then I did briefly see, yes, I do recognize Councillor DeBreen's hand. Before I can look for a seconder, let me confirm with the mover. So go ahead, Councillor Eccles.
Yeah, and I agree with absolutely, instead of the CPI or inflationary, the manufacturers or price index, I think, is what we're looking for in these programs. And I think Tara's got it there. The amendment is with that little addition that the annual be indexed with the manufacturing index would be a good response. Thank you. I'll move.
Okay, so I'm not seeing that on my screen. I guess maybe we need a refresh then for the annually index. I'll just give the floor to the clerk in case she needs to have any clarification with you, Councillor Eccles.
He's got it there. Yeah, Tara's got it there now.
Okay, so the amendment to the main motion is now reading that the motion be amended to insert an additional clause being, and that Grey County write a letter directly to the Ministry of Finance urging the province to continue to support and annually index the funding support provided by municipalities by NRBCPI. Okay, Councillor DeBreen, is your hand raised a second? Yes, okay, so it is now moved and seconded. It's on the floor for discussion, just this particular part, just this amendment to the main motion. And at this point in time, yes, thank you. I'll just look for any hands. We'll go to Councillor DeBreen, who has her hands raised.
Thank you, Warden, and through you, I wanted to seek clarification in that when we generally support at our local level municipal resolutions, we circulate the support letter to the ministries, the premier, whether it's the federal government or the provincial government, local MPPs, and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, which Smith Falls did on their letter. I heard that it would just be circulated back to Smith Falls for them to recirculate it back or do their administration. I would suggest, and if it requires a further clause amendment, that our letter and our support of the Smith Falls resolution be circulated to the various ministries, including our MPP, Paul Vickers.
Okay, and our MPPs, plural, Paul Vickers and Brian Saunderson.
Yes, sorry, thank you.
So I think I'm not going to entertain that as an additional amendment because that is, you are correct. When we write a letter ourselves and do that, that has become a common practice. So I think, Madam Clerk, if we can just highlight that in the amendment to the main motion, unless the mover specifically did not want that. I'll just look to the mover. Okay, so Madam Clerk, if you could just contain it in the motion so it's there for public record as per the practice that we've come to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so is there any other discussion? Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands raised then, so I'll call the vote on the amendment to the main motion. All those in favor? And that motion is carried. Thank you. So we'll give the clerk a moment to update the main motion now. Okay, thank you. And so it now reads that the correspondence of the town of Smith Falls regarding Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund, OCIF, be supported by the County of Grey, and that Grey County write a letter directly to the relevant ministries and MPPs urging the province to continue to support and annually index the funding support provided to municipalities by NRBCPI. All right. So is there any further discussion? Please use your virtual hand so you come to the top of the screen. Councillor Eccles? No? Okay.
Oh, hit the wrong button.
Okay. Okay. All right. In that case, then I'll call the vote on the main motion now. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. So that concludes any of our items for discussion then. We do not have any closed meeting matters. And is there any other business? Not seeing any hands raised. We will then move on to any notices of motion. Please raise your virtual hand if you have a notice of motion. Not seeing any virtual hands go up. In that case, then we can look to a motion to adjourn. May I ask for a mover in a second? Moved by the Deputy Warden, seconded by Councillor McKay. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your hand. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much and Happy New Year again to everyone. And thank you for your participation this morning. Look forward to seeing many of our colleagues in the forthcoming Roma later this month.